Hello, my name is Rick. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm just going to talk about a book that I wrote 4 years ago. It's one of 3 books I've written so far, and I think it's the most pertinent to this channel, at least at this time. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I did a short on this video, but I think this one I'm going to just kind of tell you more what it's about, and maybe even, I think I'm just going to go through the chapters and just list off every chapter, because that way you can get an idea if you think it's something cool that you might want to check out or not. So it's called Secrets of the Electric Guitarist, and just so I don't forget, I'm just going to read the subtitle. So everything I've learned about playing guitar and being a musician for over 35 years, except how to play guitar. Playing, which is like playing in a band, playing, practicing, writing, recording, performing, equipment, health, business, finances. Health, like tendonitis, which I've had unfortunately a lot, and tinnitus, which I'll have forever, unfortunately. Finances, that gets into, yeah, I'll talk about that later, but here's the back in case you want to see it. So I'm just going to read the introduction first for anybody who's interested. This is probably the best way I can do this. I'm going to read just the first page of 2 pages of the introduction, and you'll know kind of where this book idea came from. As a side note, it took me 17 years to write it. Later on when I wrote books, it was about a year or so, year or two. But it was fun. It was just off and on, and had no idea what I was doing for a long time. So I'm just going to read this. After many years of teaching guitar, it occurred to me that there is quite a bit more that goes into being a great guitarist than just playing guitar. To become the very best musician and guitarist you can be, you'll want to learn as much as possible about playing in a band, writing music, recording music, performing, and learning about the music business. You'll want to learn as much as you can about guitars, amplifiers, effects, to get the very best tone you can get. You'll want to be able to interact with musicians in an enjoyable yet professional way. I also believe it's essential that you develop powerful goal-setting skills so that you can develop a plan that will make your musical dreams a reality. I would often have students, friends, and fellow band members ask me about these things. I realized that sometimes I would be giving a guitar lesson and we were just talking and not playing our guitars. At first, I was cautious about this, thinking that I wanted to offer my students as much as I could about learning guitar in the time they had for their lesson. However, I then realized that with the right student at the right time in their studies, these were not only very, very pertinent topics, but often essential topics to their growth as a musician. You can be the best guitarist in the world, but if you don't know how to interact with other musicians, how to get great tones, as well as several other things that I go over in this book, you may never reach your full potential. It doesn't matter if it does not matter if you're playing guitar just as a hobby or if you want to be a full-time professional musician doing your own music and touring the world. I believe there are essential ingredients for making you a complete musician. And then I go on a little more, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, you can get the idea. It just occurred to me, and there's a little backstory to this too. I lived in a different city in southern Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota, for a long time. And I was writing these articles for this Blues Bugle magazine. That's another story, but anyway, I kind of got into writing and thought it was fun, and then I thought, hey, so let's see here. So I'm just going to go through the chapters. I probably gave you enough information to know if you kind of piques your interest, and if it does, you could go on Amazon. Is probably the simplest, easy way to get it. Also Google Books. I guess that's the main 2 for now. It's also in physical copy as well as Kindle. But I'm just going to go through the chapters. This will take a few minutes, so stick around if you want to. But I think this will give you a really good example or a good idea if this is something you'd want to read. By the way, the book is kind of like you could just pick it up and read a few pages and hopefully learn something. So if you're not like a big reader, which I realize a lot of people are not as much these days. Yeah, I think you could still, it's not like reading, some crazy English literature. It's something that's difficult. It's funny. I make a lot of jokes about things, rock and roll and music, and there's a lot of funny stories and stuff. So, but yeah, let's get right to it. So section 1, playing in a band. Chapter 1, starting your first band, finding band members, picking your first set of songs, the first band rehearsal, tuning down a half step, finding gigs, promoting the band, playing shows. Chapter 2, band rehearsal, scheduling the band rehearsal, a word about volume, be courteous to others, know your songs ahead of time, closed or open rehearsal, practice performance, how to end the rehearsal. Chapter 3, playing in a cover band, picking cover songs, careful of the cover band trap, booking gigs, splitting up jobs for band members. Chapter 4, being a sideman, why be a sideman, qualities of a good sideman, side woman of course too. Leading your own band, why run your own band, it takes work, is leading a band for you. Jimmy Herring talks about that, how he's on solo albums, but he prefers actually playing in Widespread Panic, I think, for various reasons. Chapter 6, playing in an original band, starting an original band, finding band members, possible questions to ask during an audition, now what, 20 ideas for shaping a song. Yeah, that's original band. Let's see, section 2, performing, which is chapter 7, traveling to the gig, the basics, think ahead, keeping your equipment safe, a gig checklist, not all gigs are created equal. Chapter 8, getting set up and oriented on stage, how and where to set up your equipment. You're out of tune, what do you do? Dealing with technical difficulties, a word about monitors, making sound check work for you, on-stage etiquette. Chapter 9, on-stage psychology, making the most of the stage, handling nerves, don't forget to smile, busting a move. Chapter 10, your sound, reverb and other issues, what if your sound is bad. Chapter 11, what to wear, dress for the part, remember there are no absolutes, do your research, and then ... but do your own thing. 12, be prepared, bring these to every gig. A lot of chapters here, it'll take a few minutes, so just giving you a heads up. Section 3, writing music. 13, the thrill of writing, 3 ways to get started, learning other people's songs, the importance of messing around. Chapter 14, a little music theory, harmonized chord scale, relative minor key, writing from the G major scale and E minor scale, messing around. Writing music doesn't always mean writing it down. Song structure basics. Section 4, recording. 15, chapter 15, recording at home recording for your demos, reasons you should record at home, how to record home demos. Chapter 16, in the studio, be prepared to rock, the ultimate studio checklist. Chapter 17, recording in a professional studio, a studio how-to guide, time to record, play in time and in the groove, remember to relax, bending strings to pitch, your vibrato and dynamics, have fun. Section 5, practicing guitar, chapter 18, when, where, and what should you practice? Set a specific time to practice, have a designated practice place, practice checklist, sample practice routines, I go through A, B, C, mental state of mind when practicing, a few more tips. 19, chapter 19, finding your own playing style, the developmental years, you do you, playing right-handed if you're left-handed, which you wouldn't have to do, of course, but just some ideas there. Section 6, the music business. Chapter 20, be nice and professional, how to work for somebody else. Chapter 21, goals, work backwards, make a clear and specific goal, brainstorm and think in great detail, plan of attack, a checklist, go to work, diving deeper. Chapter 22, proximity, Where you live matters, big cities versus small cities, financial considerations, make a plan. Chapter 23, marketing, playing live as advertising, playing music that represents you. You are the product. Possible ways to advertise, internet advertising, product advertising, traditional advertising, internet radio stations and streaming sites, your image, image placement, your music as an image. Chapter 24, getting there, almost done. I think there's 30-something chapters here. Connections, how to get connected. Connections help but don't guarantee success. Don't take advantage. Chapter 25, copywriting, the Berne Convention, formal copywriting. Chapter 26, music school pros, music school cons, there is no roadmap. Section 7, music equipment. Chapter 27, buying an electric guitar. 3 main things to consider: guitar pickups, the look of the guitar, the neck of the guitar, other neck details to look at when buying a guitar, hardware options, multi-scale guitars. Chapter 28, guitar strings, string gauge, tone, playability, tuning stability, prevent breaking strings, string life, care of strings, buying strings. Chapter 29, amplifiers, solid state amplifiers, modeling amps, tube amplifiers, combo amps, factors to consider, frequently asked questions about amplifiers. Let's see, looks like I have 39 chapters, that's right. So almost there. Let's see, chapter 30, effects. Experiment first, list of effects, things to think about, frequently asked questions. Chapter 31, guitar cables, battling tone loss, recommended cables. Chapter 32, guitar modifications and upgrades, guitar pickups, guitar tone capacitors, machine heads, pick guards, guitar neck, frets, getting a guitar repainted, strap locks. Chapter 33, guitar maintenance, 10 tips for a happy and healthy guitar. Chapter 34, trading and selling music equipment, what you need to know before you sell. Section 8, musicians' health. Chapter 35, hands and arms, things that can cause problems, healthy habits, from rock god to oh god, how to take care of yourself. That'd be great if somebody narrates this book someday and can really emphasize that. Let's see, chapter 36, ears and hearing, how ear damage typically happens wearing earplugs. 37, overall health. Section 9, musicians' finances. Chapter 38, does money grow on the musician tree? Fantasy versus reality. Creative people don't have to be poor. Why do you want money? I'm obviously not a financial advisor to tell you about what stocks or cryptocurrencies to buy, but there's some practical takeaways. Being a musician, not typically going to make millions of dollars, so that's why you want to buy the book. See what I have to say about that. So 39, things you can do to get ahead financially. Make a little more money, budget, save, invest, live below your means. Final word, follow your excitement. Glossary, what to bring to the studio, what to bring to the gig. And that's it. And a couple of fun little things here, maybe. So I did this guitar comic in the middle of the book. It's 6 pages long here, which was a ton of fun. The original version was actually in color, which I really wish I could put in here. I still have it. It looks awesome. The artist Tyler McGrath made it. It looks so cool. It's so fun thinking of the storyline and doing it. But color printing is really expensive. And the reason I did that, other than just fun, is if you look at the cover, it's like a newspaper, front of a newspaper, that whole thing. I kind of like the idea of like layers of creativity, almost like progressive rock. There's like layers deep of things. So there's actually text on here that you can read. That's just my dumb little funny stuff here. And then there's some checklists in the back of the book. I think I called it fridge art. But one of my students actually used it recently. He's practicing a lot of jazz, but he auditioned for a reggae band, and I think he said he took the list with him, and so that's cool. I thought there was something else I'm forgetting. Oh, the glossary is I think 20 something pages long, so a lot of information there too. So yeah, I think it's the way I look at it, for what it's worth, is something that I remember Anthony Robbins said once, is that if you got one good idea from a book, one good idea from a seminar, it was worth it. So, if you spend, it's about $30, and, even if 10% of it, hopefully 10% of it would resonate with you. I really think a lot of it could, but, it's like the cost of a guitar lesson, or less than a guitar lesson. And it's literally over 35 years of, just experience of things, little stories and ways of looking at things and whatnot. So, yeah, so I've never talked about it yet on my channel. I think maybe I briefly mentioned it really quickly one day, but it's worth it to talk about. So that's that. That's pretty much it, although I might as well just, since I got these laying here, this is another book I wrote about teaching guitar, so maybe I'll just do a dedicated video about that someday. And then this one here is my third book, is kind of more my productivity / self-help thing, which I struggled really for the longest time about even feeling qualified to write it. But I guess if you want my little 2 cents there, in case, I'll do a video about this sometime too. It's not really guitar, but it's it's following your excitement in life, which could be playing guitar if you never have. It could be starting your first band. It could like man, I've never recorded an album before. And then it's just my take on things. Not that my way is the best way, but since I've been a musician for 42, 43 years or whatever now, I guess. And I own a business. I've owned a business for 16 years and written some books, and it's just I've had to really think about how to get stuff done, basically, and also how not to do stuff. When to put this over here so you can make room for this. So I'll get to those sometime, but I think this is for sure the one that if I were to die tomorrow, this would be one thing I'm pretty proud about doing. So it's about 500 pages long. Read a page and a half a day for get it done in a year. I don't know. So again, it's on Amazon and Google Books. So if you check it out, I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully you get something from it. So, all right, thanks a lot.